Hi, everyone out there in the world of YouTube. Welcome back. Thanks for stopping by and checking out my channel. I appreciate you tuning in. My name is Jacqueline Anderson, and I'm a certified public accountant. And in this edition of the JCLPAA In-depth series, I want to talk about motivation and inspiration and finding those two things in unlikely places. And where I found motivation and inspiration years ago when I was studying for the CPA exam. So those new to the channel, this place or this space is dedicated to individuals who are on the CPA journey or who've sojourned through that process and have CPA behind their name and willing to share their experience and advice on how to be successful CPAs and conquer the beast of that four-part exam. So back to this edition of the JCLPAA In-depth series about inspiration and motivation. Now I've heard it said they are two totally different things, but some would say they're one and the same. But as I've learned or heard it described and defined, motivation is external and inspiration is internal. Okay. We could debate this, but either way, how do you continue to go on, continue to study or persevere when you just don't have the energy, the interest, or the strength? So I want to talk about where I found that inspiration and motivation in books and movies. I want to tell you about that process when I was going through studying, and that was in 2011 through 2014. I wasn't licensed until July 2014, and I took my last test in April 2014. I found out I passed that last exam in May, and I submitted my paperwork and didn't get approved and actually licensed by the state of Georgia until July. So that was almost about a 2-month process after I found out I passed that last exam of the 4-part process or test. So back to inspiration and motivation. I will start with the books, and I have a stack of them in my lap here because during that 3 years of, 2011, 2012, 2013, and almost, I guess, 4 months into 2014. So overall about a 3-year process. That last, I think 2013, I delved into some books outside of studying. Again, I needed some motivation. If you go with external, I needed something to help me push through when I felt like giving up. And one of those books was Who Moved My Cheese? This is a short read, real quick, but it has so many good little tidbits in it, and it's about shifting your mindset. It's how, in perception, how you look at things, where your mindset is. So if you have time, read Who Moved My Cheese because it would really benefit you if you're struggling in this CPA process. That helped me a lot. Of course, I have an actual whole video dedicated to this book, The White Collar Profession. I won't go into it, but this definitely lit a fire under my tail and got me to study. And there were no excuses after I read this book. Another one was, I read this probably early on, was Skirts in the Boardroom. And forgive me, I didn't say who the author was, but this one is Marshawn Evans. I think she's Daniels now. But Who Moved My Cheese is by Spencer Johnson. And of course, White Collar Profession is by Teresa Hammond. Those books really got me through, helped me to shift my mindset and to some degree distract me from studying, but yet motivate me to get back on track and stay on track. And I have also my review books from Becker. This one says what 2013 edition, because I had to circle back, but I started out with this monster of a book. Can you see? That was down here, 2011. This was a thick beast monster, and it's all tethered and worn out, as you can see, notes. But in it, I found were some notes in this movie I printed out with Reese Witherspoon, one of my favorite actresses, Legally Blonde. Let me tell you, that movie really inspired me and motivated me to get off my tail because in the movie. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's really funny. But there was some real messages and principles in there about believing in yourself and knowing you have the power and the intelligence to do anything you put your mind to. So that's what I learned. I got from that movie as I watched it over and over. Although she was studying to pass the bar exam to impress a guy in the movie, but I got from that you are in control of your destiny to some degree. If you put your mind to something, there's nothing you can't do. So don't let the world, the outside world, or situations deter you or discourage you. Because if you want something, go after it. And Legally Blonde to this day still motivates me and encourages me because there's nothing I can do. If that girl who had no interest in being a lawyer could pass the bar exam, although it's a movie, I can do anything. There's nothing I can do after passing the 4-part CPA exam. But I just want to encourage you, if you are on this journey, know you have the strength, the power, the smarts, the intelligence within. You have to believe in yourself, though. You can't expect people to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. You have to be confident and know you have, again, the intelligence, the strength, and the brain power to remember all of this information. And this is just one section. And of course, I was trying to pass this section over 2 years. So that's why I have 2 books, because this one, the material had changed over the years and I needed an updated version. But you can see I flipped through and just tore the book apart by the time I actually passed the 4-part exam. And a couple of other books, oh, sorry for the noise, that I read and I have here on my screen. So just as a reminder was one by Devon Franklin, Produced by Faith. Again, I read all these books back to back, probably the early part of 2013. I think that was a New Year's resolution for me in 2013 to read more books. And that's what I did. I just started reading them back to back. So I read Produced by Faith again because I am a Christian. I know I have, by the power of the Holy Spirit, the ability to do anything. So I had to pull on that. I needed to be inspired or pushed from within. I needed to pull on my faith versus being motivated by something externally or being pulled down and unhappy because of my surroundings or what was going on outside of me externally. So I had to find the strength within and be inspired to continue on no matter what was going on, either at home or at work, in relationships with my daughter or with this studying. I still needed to pull from the strength of my faith from within. So Produced by Faith by Devon Franklin helped me. And this other book called One Thing by Gary, I think, Kellerman, and another gentleman, his last name is Pappison, I think. That book, oh, that really helped me put things in perspective because you can only do one thing according to this book. Contrary to popular belief with multitasking and being able to juggle so many things in the air at one time, truly you're most productive when you concentrate on one thing at a time. And I tried it at work, or knowing I had different tasks to do, different things to get accomplished during the day versus working on several things. I started just saying, okay, outlining my day, knowing I'm going to work on this particular project, or it could be something small, just finishing up or returning emails. Just know I'm going to dedicate this part of my day or this amount of time to this specific thing and get it done doing one thing. You are most productive when you take time to organize your schedule, your day, your calendar, and devote yourself, your being to accomplishing that one thing versus being spread over in so many different areas or directions, trying to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You are most productive, and it's been proven scientifically that you can get more done if you dedicate a specific amount of time to a particular task. And then One Thing helped me understand that. It even talked about computer processors, although these probably a gazillion steps are running with your computer. I'm not a computer scientist or know anything about computer information systems, but the book says the computer is running. It seems like it's doing things simultaneously. However, it's just completing those tasks so fast. It's completing one thing at a time, but just at light speed. And that helped me too to focus back, going toward back to studying. Set aside time, manage my time wisely versus trying to do so many things at one time and squeeze in studying. Set aside dedicated time. One thing I am doing right now is studying for the next hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever that is. Devote your time to that. And one thing, reading that book helped me to get an understanding and wrap my brain around how I was going to complete the monumental task of passing the 4-part CPA exam. So now, years later, I'm a certified public accountant. So, and in this edition of the JCLPAA series, I want to talk about again motivation and inspiration and finding them in unlikely places or sources. Doesn't necessarily have to be some inspirational message, which is good too. If you're a believer and go to church, you can find them in, like I said, in a movie, Legally Blonde. That got me through and helped me to calm down and outline a path to becoming a certified public accountant. If Elle Woods in Legally Blonde could be an attorney and have no interest whatsoever coming out of high school. But again, find what it is or look within yourself, reflect and figure out what it is that motivates you, and then where you can draw inspiration from within, because sometimes you may not be motivated and you have to find the strength from within to continue on. That's it with anything, whether you're on a CPA path or in your profession. That's throughout life. You got to be able to draw from within and on the strength of your faith if you're a believer. And I invite you to Christ if you're not one, because there's nothing like it, because you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So that's been this edition of the JCLPA In-depth series. Thank you for tuning in. Please check back and remember who you are and whose you are, because there's no time like the present.